And you have so much water, and all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle. Because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests. And you have all that water that could be used as water, what they call water flow, where where the land would be damp. And you'd stop many of these horrible fires that are costing billions and billions of dollars by the federal government, etc. So one thing I'm going to do for California, vote for me, California. I'm going to give you safety. I'm going to give you a great border. And I'm going to give you more water than almost anybody has. And the farmers up north are going to be able to use 100% of their land, not 1% of their land. It's cleaned out and protected. You've got to take care of the floors, the floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have a much different, we're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem. So I know everybody's looking at that, to that end, and it's going to work out.
Having enough crews, were you guys prepared enough for this? Did we have enough resources to fight these fires? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So I'll start at the end and work back. No, LA County and all 29 fire departments in our county are not prepared for this type of widespread disaster. There are not enough firefighters in LA County to address 4 separate fires of this magnitude.
That's LA Mayor Karen Bass. She's currently in Africa attending an inauguration of Ghana's new president, but she's on her way back. Hopefully she's going to make this meeting tomorrow while her city burns. Can't overlook the fact that LA has no water. There's no water there. There's no water in the fire hydrants. There's no water to put these fires out. Right after all of the insurance companies canceled their insurance fire coverage for all of these homes.
They got canceled from their fire insurance.
Terrible.
So they're dealing with this. They're 90 years old.
No, and what are you going to do if you're 90 years old and you're getting canceled from your insurance policy? At 90 years old, what are you going to try to get another one? Or you've lost everything. You have no legacy to leave your children. The majority of 90-year-olds have the main investment in their lives of their homes, right? And they've paid insurance into the system. They've paid their taxes into the system. There's no firefighters there to combat these fires because there's no water in the fire hydrants, and there's no insurance companies backing these people now. It's a complete, total loss.
They can't fight a fire without water and the resources that are needed.
No water.
Everybody knew these winds were coming. Landing as the reservoir was not refilled in time and in a timely manner to keep the hydrants going.
His understanding and what they're saying is that the reservoirs weren't refilled enough to keep the hydrants filled with water. So this is an absolute leadership fail. Who's going to take the blame? Now, you've got the mayor of LA over in Africa. Now, supposedly she's coming back. But, are we here to think, what are these people going to get? The same as Virginia? The same as Florida? The same as Tennessee and Georgia? Are they going to get the same as Lahaina? They're getting that $700? You guys feeling better now? You've lost your homes. Insurance has dropped you for fire insurance. Now your home is burned to the ground. You have all of these Americans displaced from this. Clearly a leadership fail. And what? You're going to get $700 now? You feeling good about that? Absolutely not. We need to do better, America. And FEMA's saying they're out of money because they're giving it all to Ukraine? Right? You see?
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster?
Insane updates coming out of Los Angeles right now, and it's really starting to make sense. First of all, did you know that the Los Angeles mayor, Karen Bass, flew out to attend the West African country's presidential nomination on Tuesday? After meteorologists warned that a recipe for fire in quotations was on track to strike LA, and local people are criticizing Los Angeles County for some very interesting reasons. For allegedly refusing to refill the reservoirs, meaning obviously fire hydrants are running dry in some areas right now. And businessman and mayoral candidate Rick Caruso, I'm sure Los Angeles locals know who he is also criticizing local officials for failing to refill the water supplies. Not just that, but residents are also criticizing officials for failing to cut off electricity to power lines. And there's even footage that shows sparks firing in all directions as power lines come down amid the smoke-filled wind. But the thing that baffles me the most is the fact that just last year, I said when and where that this was going to specifically happen. And of course, people might say, oh, well, it's California, this is normal. But wait, I showed a very specific article just a year ago about a special little city. And I'm sure you know what kind of city I'm talking about.
And we already know what smart cities are.
All right, friends, you're not going to want to miss this one. So I've been seeing a lot about smart cities, and I decided to do a little digging myself. According to the World Economic Forum's website, 36 cities over 22 countries are participating in these smart cities, but many more is to come. So what is a smart city? A smart city stands for Surveillance Monitoring Analysis Reporting Technology. Basically, a digital ID will be given to every resident that will track in real time all of their daily movements, their activities, their spending habits, even their carbon footprint. They will be given 15-minute travel times to complete their daily activities unless they have a permit. And if they exceed those 15 minutes, they can be denied access to their spending and their activities that they need to do for the day. So, of course, you're like, I'm not going to move to one of those cities, right? Well, here's the thing. Because of the laws governing the Agenda 2030 land development, the government can actually seize polluted lands and force the residents to move. So if the government deems the land and water around you polluted, they can force you to move from your homes to these cities. So all of these train derailments, food processing plant fires, and other ecological disasters that are happening, they're beginning to make a lot more sense now.
It's one thing being told to abandon your house in LA and escape the fire. It's quite another getting out. The roads out of the Pacific Palisades are so gridlocked, some people have been getting out of their cars and walking. The fire brigade are having to use bulldozers to get those cars off the road and clear the road, so at least some people can get out. Other people are just going to the beach and trying to shelter there. The fires are moving so quickly because the winds suddenly picked up and they went in the wrong direction towards the built-up areas. And the fire brigade have admitted they can't control the fires. They're focusing on saving lives. So the Palisades fire currently blazing through 5 football fields in a minute. And there's worse to come, apparently. The winds are going to reach tornado-like levels. And other fires are obviously being sparked as well because of this wind, and they have to be controlled too. So a really tough couple of days coming up, and we'll wait to see what damage is being done. This area is extremely wealthy. These are multi-million-dollar homes, but there are lots of poorer areas as well. And it's just a race to get out.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there. They lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild.
Why was there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
That's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To
everything
fill the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
I literally.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see the. Do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including making sure people
I'd
are
like
safe.
to make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least tell people you're doing what you're saying you're doing? Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact information?
Right there.
They said, we have no water. I said, do you have a drought? No, we don't have a drought. I said, why don't you have no water? Because the water isn't allowed to flow down. It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north of water, more water than they could ever use. And in order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water gets poured. I could have water for all of that land. Water for your forests. You know, your forests are dry as a bone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dangerous.
That water could be routed. You know, you could have everything. Oh, not only dangerous, billions of dollars a year they spend on forest fires. And, you know, there's a case with the environment. They're not allowed to rake their forests because you're not allowed to touch it. And all they have to do is clean their forest, meaning rake it up, get rid of the leaves, get rid of, leaves that are sitting there for 5 years. And
we'll certainly get rid of the dead fall.
And get rid of the trees that are fallen that are like.
Here's an independent journalist, just like us. Here's Michael Schellenberger. So Michael Schellenberger says, get ready, everyone, because you're going to start to hear the cover-up around all of these failed liberal policies. The liberal media is going to blame it on climate change. They're going to push all of these narratives a certain way. Listen to how he says, get ready for what's coming.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Schellenberger for Public. Over the next few weeks, you're going to hear Governor Gavin Newsom, Mayor Karen Bass, and the Democratic Party tell you that there's nothing that could have been done to prevent the catastrophic fires from ravaging Los Angeles. Those will be lies. They could have prevented them. Governor Gavin Newsom cut the funding for preventing forest fires and failed to build sufficient water resources for fighting fires. Mayor Karen Bass cut $17.5 million in funding for the Los Angeles Fire Department and then went to Ghana, even though she knew of the risk of catastrophic fires. Now, it's true that California in general, and Los Angeles in particular, are fiery places, and it's true that Santa Ana winds made the fires worse. But Newsom and Bass have known about those hazards for all of their careers and failed to deal with them. The rank incompetence, the lack of leadership is shocking and scandalous. It's hard to overstate how badly they screwed up water management in particular.